Hey everybody, welcome back. I am going to do a quick video today of something that I've now had an opportunity to try. At some point last year, I was reading a thread on a base notes forum, specifically about what apparently was a newish or current formulation of what I consider to be a legendary designer fragrance, Fahrenheit by Christian Dior. This is my bottle here. This one is, according to the batch code, apparently a production date of January 2015. What the thread was about last year was that apparently the current version of Christian Dior Fahrenheit is a good or better reformulation, i.e. that it's appeared to be closer to vintage versions of the juice. Now, I did a review based on my bottle of Fahrenheit, and I still enjoy the batch or the version that I have. Now, I don't know how transparent companies generally are with reformulations, but it would strike me that Christian Dior with their reformulations, even though I'm on the record as saying that I think when they do reformulations, they're pretty good. They don't generally turn something great into something terrible when they reformulate. And like I said, I do enjoy my version of Fahrenheit, but I was very curious because there was a lot of talk about how the current version of Fahrenheit was closer to the original, seemed a bit stronger even, and now I have the opportunity to test it. So a very kind subscriber of mine sent me a sample spray of Fahrenheit, and it is from late 2018. So this one here is just over a year old, and my bottle is closer to 5 years old. Now, all I can do in this situation is trust that that is the correct batch and compare them side by side. No point wearing them separately. I like to do a direct comparison. I have my version of Fahrenheit, which is the older one, on this arm, and the current or the newer one on this arm. Now, the first thing, I've made notes here, and the first thing I noticed between them is that there definitely is a difference. They're definitely identifiable as Fahrenheit because it's, to me, one of the most unique designers or fragrances period out there. It's got a really distinct, recognizable DNA. Here are the differences that I noticed mainly. My version, the 2015 version, is definitely highlights more of the violet leaf and the florals overall. There is still always that very famous petrol accord that you get in here, but it's intermingled more with the florals, definitely the violet leaf more. And when this develops a bit more on skin, I get quite a bit of chamomile that comes through in this particular formulation. Now, this newer version, here are the first things that I notice. It's darker, it's a little bit heavier, it feels like it has more weight. I get a lot more leather in the current version, and also that petrol note is darker and more blended, more leathery, if you will. It's blended more with the leather, whereas here it's blended more with the florals, and it gives it a lighter kind of disposition. This one certainly has become darker and heavier. And they're the main differences. This opening stays longer as well. Even I even notice a bit more citrus in this newer version. Now, I have to account also for the fact one is newer than the other, and if whatever, if any, aging effect has occurred. But certainly this current version of Fahrenheit is no slouch, and in fact I smell it more than my older version. It's stronger, it projects more, and we're talking about the difference between a Dior atomizer and a plastic sample spray. I did exactly the same amount of sprays, so I would expect that I get more juice off the Dior sprayer than the little atomizer, but the new version is certainly heavier, weightier, more leathery. It's darker as well. I've had these on now for just over an hour, and this is the most similar they have been during the whole development. But if I had to give a verdict on which one I've preferred smelling while I've had them on, it is definitely the late 2018 and presumably the current version of Fahrenheit. Now here's the dilemma when something like this happens. If you're buying, if you are now watching this and decide, wow, I need to get myself some Fahrenheit, I mean, for me, it kind of doesn't matter because I was already happy with the version I had. And now I know that this new one is, in my mind, a little bit better. So if I buy online and I get whatever I get, I'm not going to be too disappointed. But if someone watches this now and decides I want a current Fahrenheit, well, I guess the only way you're going to be able to check is to buy it in a store, in a bricks and mortar store, and check the batch number to see that it's been manufactured in the last year or so. Because if you're buying online and looking for a cheaper price, there's no guarantee of what you're going to get in terms of a production date. So that's a risk you're going to have to take. But I guess in this case, the reformulation of an iconic fragrance is good news, albeit not a confirmed reformulation, just one that people have noticed with their nose. And you certainly don't have to worry that Fahrenheit has been weakened or watered down, because I'll tell you what I also have noticed on my skin is that you probably won't pick it up on camera, but the newer version has left a more oily residue on my skin than my bottle has. And what that generally means is that there's possibly a higher oil content there. I don't know, there could be other factors, but it's just an anecdotal, interesting bit of information that I thought I'd share with you. For all of you fans of Fahrenheit, definitely go and check it out for yourself if you're in a store, and I'm sure they're widely stocked all around the world. If you can see that you've got a new bottle of Fahrenheit there on the shelf, give it a spray and see what you think. But I certainly detect differences between my 5-year-old bottle and a newer batch of Fahrenheit. I hope you found that interesting. I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching.